There you go. Are you rocking and rolling now? I know that you are.
Now the tune is kind of catchy, and I'm a-tapping my toe. The lyrics made me chuckle, and I'm LMFAO. Rolling through Indiana, rolling through Ohio. I'm really digging Blue Collar on the Ed Tyll Show. Fog line, and it's mile after mile. Ed Tyll's the only thing out here that gives me reason for a smile. With news and commentary and agglomeration too, Ed Tyll's the only highway show that takes away my blues. The blue light special at all costs if you can. You don't need a confrontation with the badge or with the man. Obey the road construction laws even though you must go slow so you can dig Blue Collar on the Ed Tyll Show. Again. Ed Tyll.
You are funny. Love those guys, Blue Collar Agglomeration. BLUCOLLAR. You got it? BLUCOLLAR. Agglomeration is GLOMERATION. Oh my God. Could you spell that again? I could. BLU for blue. Collar, COLLAR.
I left the ports up in New Jersey and I roamed far and wide.
I love these guys. Agglomeration is GLOMERATION. So this should be way up here, is what you're saying? You want me to do it that way? Okay, good. Because I just want to hear that horn, baby. Guy says to me, you know, you look a little bit like Chuck Barris. What? Yeah, he goes in that movie by George Clooney.
Now the tune is kind of catchy, and I'm a-tapping my toe.
I said that's Sam Rockwell, dude.
Chuckle, and I'm LMFAO. Rolling through Indiana, rolling through Ohio. I'm really digging Blue Collar on the Ed Tyll Show.
Time and monies, and that makes it difficult because the divers underneath the water are struggling so hard. So that coordinated effort can also be hindered by just minor, what you and I would think are minor weather deviations, but they're huge to people underwater and on the surface. And depending on how high the seas are, that can make it very problematic for wreckage to be brought up shipside so it can be photographed and identified by the aviation experts that are very familiar with that type of aircraft.
If it's so dangerous, David, for divers to go under that water, the visibility is sometimes negligible. What about these ROVs, as they're called, these remotely operated?
The Wolfman, huh? He's on it. But, you know, he's got to fill. We don't have to fill time. Why? Because we have all the different networks to choose from. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's a little bit me, it's a little bit you. Isn't that the song by the Monkees when we were kids? Davy Jones, didn't he sing that? It's a little bit me, girl, you know it's true. It's a little bit me, it's a little bit you. And she says, does that mean we're on it's like a Dutch date? Are we going Dutch? And I would always say the same thing. Are you from Amsterdam? And she'd say, no. I said, well then, I guess I'm not going Dutch with you. All right, honey. You want to get those tickets to Serpico? Yes, I love Al Pacino. Have you seen the movie before? Oh yeah, about 5 times. Wow, you've come to the movie 5 times by yourself? Can I have some popcorn? Wow, you must really love this movie. Yep, Al Pacino, the man. Girls love Al Pacino. You know why? Short. Different. All the other guys, too tall. Pacino is short. He's got those big eyes. And they go, but he's down there. They go, oh, no, it doesn't matter where those are. Short is no problem. I go, but I always thought short was like a big, nah. How about bald? If he was bald as a cue ball, it wouldn't make a difference. Really? If Al Pacino was bald, it would make no difference? No difference at all. Why? Because he's Al... Wow. Damn, if I would have known this when I was young, I would have wasted a nickel on grooming. Is this completely irrelevant? You know, how much did you really spend? You know, Herbal Essence, that was the first one. The first time you had to shampoo your hair in high school because some girl might smell it. And because girls always smell good, you had to make sure you didn't smell like, sweat, stinky. So Herbal Essence is the big revelation in the hallway. Everybody's like, gotta get it. All right, I got it. Told my mom, so Mom, where do I get this? She goes, try the supermarket where they sell the shampoo. Okay. Out there. Got it. Now, using it, and it smells great. My hair looks terrible. I'm like, it's killing my hair. My mother says, maybe you should, take a... And there it was. On the ingredients label, it's all full of alcohol. Oh, she goes, that dries your hair out. Oh, it's what's happening. My hair's all frizzed out. This is no good. I look like that guy, and that rap guy, LMAO, whatever his name is, laughing my ass. That's what the guy's singing about in that song. Yeah, no, I don't want that. I don't want that Q-tip look. I had that. You know what? Now it all comes together when you're too old to do anything about it, Now I finally know I shouldn't have put that Herbal Essence in, but I did it because they're like, oh, it smells so... I fell for the whole thing. I bought the whole thing, hook, line, and sinker. I'm older, I'm wiser, I still have great hair, if you can see. I don't know if you can see it. We're not really so tight today. I let the beard grow, and I got the George Clooney white walls are coming in on the side. Boy, that's an ugly thought. George Clooney's white walls. No thanks. And so he's married now. So what is the clock running on this until there's an amicable liberal divorce? Come on, please. Only liberals have amicable divorce. How can a divorce be possibly amicable? Throwing away all this, it was no good anyway. It was a bad plan. Jeez, romance is dead in America, huh? What happened to it? What happened? Who killed it? Was it you? Did you? Was it me? I was the last guy still getting fired off. Waste. Nobody even knows what you're doing. They go, what's wrong with you? Nothing. Old school. Well, nobody needs you. We're all speeding along at broadband speed on phones. Because now, I realized the other day, everything is combined into do you have that thing? I didn't even know it happened. I guess it's been happening. I didn't know about it. But there's a thing. If you send an email, it turns it into a text and an email at the same time, and it goes to... I didn't know it. All I knew was... My whole thing was I just hit send. I thought it was good. Not good. So, well, what did I do? Well, I don't know. Do you know who you're sending it to? Yes, of course. Well, do you know what kind of phone they have? Maybe you're closed, but I don't know. Well, if you don't know that, I don't know. You expect it to work? Do I expect what to work? I've been texting people for 20 years. What do you mean? Well, I don't know what you're texting them on. I don't know what you're sending it on. What do you mean on a phone? On a smartphone, right? Which one? What kind? Do you have Android Lollipop? All right, that's it. You have to go. You're out of here. What do you mean, do I have Android Lollipop? What do I look like to you? I'm a grown man. You realize I'm almost in my senior years? I'm telling everybody I'm 58. I could be 68 for as good as I look. But I'm just saying, do you understand? Well, whatever, Grandpa. You got some kind of phone there that's obviously screwing up everybody else's phone. Are you 4G? Oh, boy. Okay. Look, whether or not I know if I'm 4G, I don't have to answer you like some kind of... you sound like McCoy on Law & Order. You sound like the McCoy guy. Weren't you really in love with that woman and told her... Shut up. I'm not in the witness box. Although... that's got a good ring to it. I wouldn't mind being in a witness box if you got one. Depends on who's the witness, as Groucho would say. Groucho would say, well, who's the witness? Sir, please take the witness box. Excuse me, I would, but I'd have to know the witness first. I'd have to be introduced to that witness if we're going after the witness's box. I love this song.
Decide to be something, you can be it.
Well, Ed, I think Ed does a great job. I think Ed is one of the heroes of the media. I think he speaks to the needs of working class people.
Because you're listening to the Starcom radio network. What kills me is he trips over calling me a hero. Calls me a hero, then he breaks it back. You know, it's your biggest compliment to me, and he stumbles on it. Like he had trouble saying it, or maybe it's not totally true, or whatever. He's sending out a mixed signal. He goes, Ed is one of the heroes. Oh, come on. What does it give you, indigestion? The thought of me being a hero to anything, it chokes you up right away? Right away you can't live with that? You know what I'm living with over? You have no idea what I live with. Well, it's a parakeet that's really driving me crazy. Why? Because it's a liberal parakeet every day. You know, Obama, you know, Obamacare. It loves everything. If you put on MSNBC and that guy is on, Mia Farrow's son, Ronin, the warrior, the Ronin warrior, if he's on, the bird's all like, the minute I switch over to anything, it doesn't matter what, as long as if it's not MSNBC, the bird starts flipping out on the thing, knocking the swing back and forth, you know, opening its feathers inside of you know, the thing he's in, cage. I don't want to say it because it right away gets all upset at that. Can't say a word about the cage he's in. So, shh. Don't say cage. But whatever. All I'm saying is he knows not to flutter his wings inside the thing. I have to tell him that. He's the one that's in there. I let him out all the time. He's always out. When the show's not on, the bird's out everywhere. He's always, you know, I make him a bowl of cereal at night, the whole thing. You know, small bowl. But whatever, he's sitting there with me. We're watching Law & Order reruns, me and the bird. Everything's cool. As soon as the news comes on, flies to the other side of the house, doesn't want to talk, doesn't want to say anything. And why? Well, you know, the Democrats are having a bad day, the bird's not interested. As soon as something happens to a Republican that looks bad, the bird flies into the room, bragging around, you know, they're just going crazy, doing backflips, pretending he's falling, and then at the last second spreading his wings and gliding out. It's insane. I'm like, I don't like this bird. And they go, you know, PETA, well, you can't say anything. What? That's right, you know, sir, you signed a form at the pet store. It said that if you had a personality conflict with the bird, that you would have to, you know, lay down your arms, so to speak, and not use a raised voice or an unkind tone toward the parakeet. You signed it right here, sir. I mean, I'm sorry, you clicked it where you said terms and service, that you agreed. You clicked on it.
Mission accomplished banner from the Bush administration about Iraq several years ago. Well, the Pentagon isn't quite...
How could George Bush keep being relevant every time something comes up now? What is this? But seriously, what is this? As George Bush, first of all, myself included, we weren't exactly nuts about this guy. This guy was a pain in the ass, but he was the president, much like somebody else I know. Pain in the ass, but still is president? Yes. So if this is what it's going to be, do you now want everybody who disagreed with Obama to talk about him for 20 more years? Enough is enough. At some point, it's your homework. You have to do your homework. Yeah. And when you don't, you sound like this guy.
That we schwack.
ISIS still a significant threat with hundreds of millions of dollars, torturing and killing. Syria remains their safe haven. ISIS fighters in a new video in the Syrian...
Now, there's a very interesting fact that luckily I was able to snatch out of the thin air for you. Did you hear that? Where does ISIS have a safe haven? In Syria. Is that the country Barack Obama said he drew at President Obama? Let's be respectful. We could disagree and still be, better and not bitter. Okay, let's be better and not bitter. Let's do this. And it goes like this. He went out there and he said, the Syrians can't do... I am not going to let the Syrians get away with anything. And he drew a Zorro, like a Z, in the sand. He drew a line in the sand. The red line, they called it, but there was no paint can. It wasn't really a red line. It's a figure of speech, a red line. He really drew a line in the sand because, it's all about the Middle East. There's a lot of sand out there. Then ISIS comes in, and he says maybe, and then they say yes, and they go, okay, we're going to go get him, and now here we are 6 months later, we're getting him, and we're getting him and everything, and now he says, well, we've pretty much got him, except for they're hiding in a safe haven in Syria. Now, are you the same guy I saw a couple of months ago who was telling me there was a problem in Syria? Is that what I'm hearing? Now, my question is, are you having a problem with Syria? Like where it is, or which country we mean when we say Syria? Or this guy Assad, who is the son of the guy who was there before? So I'm sure all of your life, Mr. President, it's been Assad has been in charge. So if you just write Assad, Syria on the envelope, he'll pretty much get it over there. What part of this are you not getting over here is the question. That's the question I'm asking you. What are you not getting? Well, Syria's a safe haven for ISIS.
In the hands of ISIS, how can...
There he comes. Now, Wolf will ask it 9 ways. Now, because ISIS is in charge, and when ISIS first came around and the president said it was junior varsity, okay, Wolf, look, we only have until the end of time. We only have until the planet burns out. So, you just take your time. If you have anything else you want to ask Barbara, there's always the next millennium to get her answer.
If you hear a song in blue, like a flower crying for the dew.
Ed Tyll Show, Starcom Radio Network. We're on a little bit later.
That was my heart.
A little bit later than we normally are, which is great, because the news needs us. The newsroom finally needs us. The first day of the year, nobody's like, all right, Ed? And I'd be like, yeah, we're good in here, man. You're good in the newsroom. You mean the whole world, the Ebola, everything is all good? The taxes, Boehner, we're good, man. Today, they're like, Ed, everything's going on. Boehner may lose his job. I go, what? Nobody knew this yesterday? We're looking around. Nope, we found out this morning. Somebody sent us a text. Who sent you a text? Maybe John Boehner. Oh, you are killing me, bro. Oh, yeah.
It's just a simple...
So John Boehner is, I think he's getting Botox shots, right? That was not his second thing. It was get reelected to speaker, get my Botox, go get some orange painted on, see the missus. I don't want to go home without that Botox. She hates that. Come in without Botox. She'll be like, you look so run down.
a sugar too.
You say, well, how come so much Well, I cry a lot. You know, a lot of crying. You have to get a little extra Botox. You get extra Botox because you cry all the time. You think it's the pink ties? I mean, maybe you got the whole motif wrong. Maybe it's like Al Gore. You got to come back out with a brown suit. Something. That's probably a bad idea. Cancel a brown suit. But something in here, I don't know which piece doesn't fit, but you are a jigsaw, man. Watch your language.
A prelude to a kiss. And though it's just a simple melody that you could turn into.
Now, people always go, where do you come up with these songs? Okay. I had a job at WFTL on weekends 35 years ago doing overnights. And the guy would say to me, anytime you want, throw on a tune. Talk about what you want to talk about. Tell them what's up. But feel free to play a tune. I go, you got it, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. I'm going to do that. I didn't know what kind of music they played or had in there, really. I get in there, it's all Vaughn Monroe. I go, oh my God, Frank Sinatra, I love all this, boom, boom. So I'm talking up a blue streak, and the ladies are going, hello, Frank Sinatra, I love him, young man. Young man, you're doing a very good show with Frank Sinatra. I would say, thank you. Play some more Vaughn Monroe. I said, I will, ma'am. And then it was all Margate. They were calling in from Margate. Say, Margate, hi, you're on the air. This is the best show they've ever had. I don't know who put you on or what you're doing in there, but this is a great show. Oh, thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure. Well, WFTL is my station now. And I was like, unbelievable. I'm killing with music that's older than me. I'm killing with this. This is awesome. Hi, you're on the air. Young man? Yes, sir. I'm calling from Fort Lauderdale by the Sea. Yes, sir. Lauderdale by the Sea. Welcome. You're on the air. Well, again, my wife just called a minute ago, and I just want to... That was your wife? My wife just called a minute ago. You have the two of us dancing in the living room. I said, sir, it's my pleasure. Now, he goes, what is your name? I said, my name, sir, is Ed Tyll. And he says, I'm sorry, what was that again? I said, Ed Tyll. And he goes, how do you spell that? I said, Ed is E-D. Right, now what's the second part? Tyll. Tyll? Tyll. Tyll? I said, sir, it's Tyll. So right away I say, I'm yelling at this guy. And I'm on the air. And I'm playing this music, and he loved me when he called in. He was dancing with his wife. He's on the phone with me for 30 seconds, and he's yelling at me, and it's all because he can't hear my enunciation. My elocution is not sufficient to meet this man, even in the middle, and he's calling up to compliment me. I said, oh my God, this talk radio thing is going to work. This is perfect. I said, sir, would you like me to spell it for you? He goes, very good. Would you do that? I said, T as in Tom, Y as in yellow, L as in Larry, L as in Larry. He goes, L as in what? I said, L as in Larry. He goes, Gary or Larry? I said, Larry. Gary? Larry. Gary. Comes back to the phone. He goes, well, whatever your name is, my wife and I are really enjoying your show. Was it T-Y-L-L as in Larry or Gary? What was it, Larry or Gary? Sir, actually, that's an English translation. Can I give you my native American name? Yes, please. Running Bear. What do you think? Running Bear. Very good. I'm going to tell my... RB. Just call me RB. Unbelievable, huh? And you say, well, geez, how many years ago was that? You say, well, it's hard to believe. It doesn't feel like it really doesn't feel like it was that long ago. You know, it's by the beach. It was just, you know, doing it. And you say, well, but where did all the time go? I don't know. We met some girls. I know we did that. We met some girls, right? Along the way.
All of me. Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them.
You know what this is? Besides being a great song maybe you've heard before, this is the song that Wolf Blitzer and his wife danced to back in 1935 when they got married. Yeah, Wolf's been married 80 years this year. He's 97, something. I don't know. He's got married as a teenager during the war. I don't know which war it was. I don't know what he did in the war, but I know when he came back from the war, he's like, I'm married.
Well, Wolf, we know for a fact that nearly all of North Korea's internet is routed through China, but we spoke with a North Korean defector who says the connection goes much deeper than that. He says that Bureau 121 began a large-scale operation in China a decade ago, and hackers are still operating in this country right now.
Shenyang has the neon glow of a typical Chinese city. Beneath the bright lights, an unusual sight, the flag of one of the most isolated countries on Earth. This is the state-owned Pyongyang restaurant. Kimchi? Kimchi? The waitresses are here on what's considered a prestigious 3-year assignment. They say they're all from the same university in Pyongyang. Nearby, the Chilbosan Hotel, a joint venture between North Korea and China. The art, like everything else, pure Pyongyang propaganda. This is North Korea's state TV playing right now in our hotel room. Hallways are kept dark, just like in North Korea, which struggles with electricity shortages. Shenyang is the biggest Chinese city near North Korea, a place where many from Pyongyang come to work. This defector says they also come here to hack. It's easy for them to work secretly. It also has great internet infrastructure, says Kim Hoon Kwang. The former Pyongyang computer science professor claims North Korean hackers operated secretly in Shenyang for years. Kim says some of his own students became cyber warriors for the hacker network known today as Bureau 121. By day, they worked regular jobs, he says, but the rest of the time they were acting on orders from Pyongyang. Kim says hackers often worked out of the basements of North Korean-owned buildings. He's found no evidence any hacking activity was occurring at the places we visited, but says locations were kept secret and constantly changing. When they enter China, he says they come under different titles. For example, an office worker, an official with a trade company, or even as a diplomatic staffer. North Korea has a consulate in Shenyang, just minutes from the hotel and restaurant. Representatives for that consulate, the embassy in Beijing, and government officials reached by email in Pyongyang tell CNN they have no comment on the defector's claims. For its part, China says it opposes any illegal cyber activity on its territory. In the middle of a bustling Chinese city, a hub for North Koreans, and questions about what's really happening beneath the surface.
The defector we spoke with says the hacking activity really peaked here in China between 2005 and 2011, and now that North Korea is expanding internet access within its own country, they're moving some of their operations back to Pyongyang. But he also says they still have hackers operating all over the world because they can launch attacks that can't be directly traced back to North Korea. And Wolf, you've been to that country, as have I. It was remarkable to be able to walk into a hotel, walk into a restaurant, and feel like you're transported back inside North Korea.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing. Very illuminating. Thanks very much. Will Ripley doing some great reporting for us from Beijing. With us in the Situation Room now is our guest, Stephen Yates. He was the Deputy Assistant for National Security to the Vice President Dick Cheney. Christian Whiten, who was a Deputy Special Envoy for Human Rights in North Korea during the Bush administration. And Gordon Chang, a columnist for Forbes.com, author of the book Nuclear Showdown, North Korea Takes on the World. Stephen, if this so-called Bureau 121's location, its operation is so much public knowledge, why did the Chinese allow this to go on? Why have they intervened to shut it down?
Well, they must be okay with its operations. And of course, China itself is one of the leading sources of cyber attacks against the United States and the United States interests around the world. So it wouldn't be too shocking for us to realize that the Chinese government says that they don't condone or support anything like this happening on its territory, but they themselves do this.
What do we know, Gordon, about these hackers who make up this so-called Bureau 121? Are any names of active members out there? Are they all North Koreans, or do they go out there? Hire Europeans, hire Middle Easterners, hire Americans for the possibility of getting the best kind of hackers out there.
Yeah, Unit 121 clearly has outsourced a lot of their work. For instance, the hack on Sony, which is generally considered to be a Unit 121 venture, essentially worked with Lizard Squad, Guardians of Peace, and maybe even disgruntled Sony employees. But primarily, its staff is North Korean. There's about 1,800 of them, and most of Unit 121's people are actually in Shenyang. So clearly, the Chinese are very much involved in what's going on with regard to this particular unit.
Christian, South Korea's defense ministry actually today said North Korea has increased the size of this so-called cyber army to about 6,000 troops. It doesn't seem like the U.S. imposed sanctions, at least over the past week or two, have done much.
You think, Wolf? You think that the North Koreans have not responded to sanctions? Does anybody know if there was ever a time when anybody responded to sanctions? Sanctions? Sanctions. Really? Words on a piece of paper for an outlaw country. Fascinating how they didn't follow through, that the sanctions hurt them. Geez, I wonder, the sanctions didn't work? You're saying how many times? Oh, pretty much all the time they don't work. Really? So you're doing them again?
Change, change, change. Change, change, change. Change, change, change. Change, change, change. Change of food. Lord, look down here.
This is the Ed Tyll Show.
Try to work around them. Basically, the most troubling thing about the Sony hack is how widespread that was. Whether they did it directly or indirectly by way of collaborators, they really got a great deal of privileged information in private companies. And this is actually following a model the Chinese have taken to gain economic leverage and advantage in recent years. They took down an entire company out of Canada, Nortel, by way of cyber espionage. The North Korean could be looking to follow the same path.
Gordon, Kim Jong-un, the leader of North Korea, will be celebrating his 32nd birthday on Thursday. Based on history, what should we expect?
Well, there's going to probably be a lot of propaganda, but also